Hi guys, welcome back to my podcast, Backseat Positivity, where we discuss all things positive, lifestyle, happiness, health, and we just have a good time. Sometimes we have guests, sometimes it's just me. So I'm Dawn, I'm a doctor, and I am the host of this fun train. So today we are talking about a recent thing that has happened to me, and that is why I'm obsessively grateful for my sofa. You might think, Dawn, how did you get to this conclusion? Well, it's been a turbulent time. If you follow my YouTube channel, you might have noticed my recent escapades with my living room. But if you haven't, don't worry, I'll be discussing it, and we'll be getting into what happened with my living room. We'll also just be generally talking about gratitude. It's been in the media a lot, especially to do with like mindfulness and things. So I, in the past, have very much struggled with gratitude. It's very hard to do, but there's a trick that I have developed recently. I've been like, oh my God, now I'm so grateful for things. So we're going to be doing gratitude, mindfulness, talking about the mindfulness journey. My sofa story, another story after that, but that's a secret story. And then we're going to be talking about things that I'm grateful for. Some of them are concrete, some of them are abstract. So stick around, and if you're new here, hi. If you're not, hi. It's nice to have you here. Okay, if you are listening, by the way, there is a video option. If you go to my YouTube channel at Dawn Barlow, DAWN BARLOW, it's available in approximately 2 weeks after the audio release date, but it's released sooner on my Patreon page, which is at Diaries of a Doctor on Patreon. So I'll leave them in the description below. But anyway, those are ways to watch the audio, watch the video if you want to. If you're just happy listening to the audio, that's fine. You go for it. You go, girl. Because I love doing that too. I also love listening to just audio podcasts. I listen to them when I'm like walking dogs or when I'm driving. Driving is a very common one because it's bloody boring and very long sometimes. So, yeah, if you're joining just on the audio, you're not missing out on much, don't worry. You're just missing out on looking at me and the weird faces I make. Anyway, let's talk about gratitude. What is it? Obviously, it's just being grateful for stuff. I don't know the official definition, just it's talked about a lot over the past few years. Now, this is definitely something that we've lost touch with, I would say, being grateful for stuff. Because we live in a culture where it's like, oh, something's broke, we'll just throw it away and buy a new one. Because actually it's cheaper, especially with technology nowadays. I recently broke my phone camera. Let me show you. It's an iPhone 14 Pro. Yeah. I bought it because I do a lot of video stuff, a lot of vlogging, and take a lot of pictures and stuff on purpose, on purpose, as in, you know, having a YouTube channel, you're going to take videos, so you want them to be good quality. So I got this phone, which has, I think it's the latest one, or it was at the time that I bought it, and it's got the best camera. So let me show you. If you're not on the video now, this is a time that you would want to look at the video, but I mean, you can just imagine it's a broken iPhone camera lens. Yeah, it's pretty shit. Still works though. But anyway, what I'm saying is I am obviously sad that I've broken it because it's going to cost me a lot of money, and I googled it, about 200 quid, because you have to replace the whole camera set. You can't just replace one or just the glass or whatever. It comes as like a little pack, a unit, I should call it. So things are just expensive to replace now, so you're not really grateful for them. You're actually like, oh, you're a burden. And also, when you do have to replace something or fix something, you're just like, well, I'll just replace it completely, because not my phone, but just things like, oh, I don't know, if a toaster breaks, it's just cheaper and quicker and easier just to buy a whole new one for like 30 quid. You're not going to get your toaster fixed. But back in my day, like the 80 or 90-year-old now would say, back in my day, we would have fixed it. Yeah, well, that's because everything was cheap AF, and also you didn't really have the money necessarily to be fixing it. So, but I definitely think we're in a throwaway culture, and guys, my bowels are doing some bad things. I think I need to go to the toilet. God, I am so sorry about that. That was like desperate times, when... Okay, let's be honest. If you're not into the TMI, I'd just skip a couple of minutes ahead if I were you. I'm on my period, and you get like the period poops, don't you? So, that was 0 to 100. I was literally like 6 minutes in, and it was like, I'm coming out, nothing's stopping me. And that's the problem with having a high fibre diet and drinking enough water. You can have a high fibre diet and also drink not enough water, and then it just clogs you up. But I eat lots of fruits and veggies, and yeah, it was just so quick. But anyway, I'm very good at ignoring my poo signals, because I'm like, I'm podcasting, stop it. I'm podcasting, I'm videoing, let me just live, and I will come to you in a minute. All right, just chill out. But no, there was no stopping that one. So I'm also a very quick pooer. Like, when it needs to come out like that, I go to the toilet, it's out, it's a quick delivery, and then that's it. I'm out in like a few minutes. I don't know who these people are that sit on the toilet for half an hour. Like, what are you doing? I don't understand it. I need to know. Like, I want to know, like, is it because you're sat there pushing? Is it because it's just like coming out really slowly? Is it because you like poo and then you stop and you just go, right, I'm just going to sit with my bum out, poo smeared all over my bum, not literally, and just sit on my phone, contemplate the world? Or do they get like all cleaned up and then just sit in the toilet? Like, I don't know. I want to know though. I'm in and out like a flash. You wouldn't know if I've been for a wee or a poo. That's how good I am. Anyway. Okay, that was about 2 minutes. So, well, if you skip 2 minutes forwards, that's poo segment over. Maybe I'll have to mention that on the like contents. Be like, poo section. Skip if you do not want to hear TMI about my bowels. Look, it's just bowels. It's just fun. All right. Okay, what was I saying? Gratitude. Yeah, feeling grateful. Yeah, we got that. How do we get more? Well, that's what I'm going to tell you. So, I don't know why I've written that down. What's the point? Okay. I think... Oh, I was talking about... See, this is where my poo has disrupted me, because now I've lost my flow. My bowels were flowing. I was flowing. Now I'm not flowing. So, what's the point? I think being more grateful for stuff just makes you like so much more positive. You're like, wow, I really appreciate this, rather than being like, goodbye, on to the next. And it doesn't have to be like you're grateful about physical items. It can be okay, we'll talk about what I'm grateful for in a bit, because, we're skipping ahead a bit. But yeah, it doesn't have to be like a physical item. And I get it, you might not actually be that grateful for a phone or whatever, but actually they are quite useful. But it might just be like a tool to you rather than something that you're grateful for. But we should even be grateful for tools. Right, okay. So I think it's come up very popularly in mindfulness. And I remember doing some of the mindful sessions that are about gratitude and just being like, I just can't do it. I sit here and I think, right, be grateful for the people around you. Be grateful for a warm bed. I don't know, simple things like that. But I just couldn't do it. Like in my head I was like, yeah, come on, you can do this. But I just couldn't. So I would just sort of lie there half-assed, half attempting to do the session and not really being able to do it. I find mindfulness really bloody hard. Like, I practice it more not doing a session, as in, like, you know, you've got the mindfulness apps. When I do a mindfulness session, I'm a lot less mindful than when I just like go and sit in the garden or look out the window. But I guess it's kind of building you to get towards that stage. But it can feel really discouraging when you're like, you literally try and sit there and focus on your breathing. And also I found that very difficult because when I get anxious, I have like breathing tightness. And focusing on my breathing actually makes it worse. So I don't think breathing is a good one for me, but they are starting to move on to doing ones that are like less about breathing and more about focusing on parts of your body. So it really depends what kind of person you are, I think. Okay, it's time to get into the sofa story. We are 12 minutes in. Sofa story is imminent. Okay. So, about 3 weeks ago, Tom and I were sat... Actually, no, it was longer than that ago. Maybe a month ago, or a bit longer. I was sat in my front room with Holly, I think, and she was like, have you noticed that crack on the ceiling? And I was like, yeah, like it's fine. It's been like that forever. And I didn't really think much of it. But then the other day, as in like maybe a month ago, Tom and I were sat in the front room. Tom's my boyfriend, Holly's my friend. And Tom lives with me. And we were looking at the ceiling and we were going, that looks bigger. And we were like, we should definitely tell like the estate agents. And so we emailed them like 3-4 weeks ago. Now, the email ignored. Probably, yeah, like maybe a week ago. Yeah, it was on the weekend. It was Sunday, and it's Sunday now. So it was literally a week ago, last week. We hear this like massive crash. Like, I can't even remember if I talked about it. Yeah, I did. I did in my vlogs, but not in my podcast. So hopefully this is not repeating the story. But we hear this massive crash, and then the dogs run out of the front room, and we're like, what just happened? And I was like, has somebody just crashed into the front room, like from the road into the front room? And I go in there, and there's just like rubble, and I guess you call it like mortar or whatever, ceiling contents all over the floor, and probably like a manhole size cover area missing from the ceiling. In this place that it was cracked. Now, nothing was like going on upstairs. We were both downstairs, and there's no like leak up there or anything. In fact, if you look at all the other... I'm actually above it right now. But anyway, I'll tell you that in a minute. So, it's Sunday, so we try emailing, like, ringing the out of hours line. They don't obviously answer. Our estate agents are shit. They just are. And... I don't even think they told our landlord about the crack that was imminently about to fall through 3 or 4 weeks ago now. Oh dear. So they didn't answer. We couldn't get through to them, so we sent them an email. Anyway, they get back to us the next day. But the builder guy, couldn't come until Friday. Thursday, but I said let's do it on Friday. Thursday or Friday. And so for a whole week, I know it's not long, but it felt long, really long, we couldn't use the front room, and we were worried that the dust, because it was so dusty in there, and the like fibers from the ceiling were not good to inhale, so we didn't just want to like clean it up and inhale it all and then not know what to do with it. Like, did it have asbestos in it or anything like that? Did it need to be dealt with properly? So they seem to think that it didn't have asbestos in it. Who knows? And so we didn't use the front room for that whole week. Now, the weird thing is, I want somewhere, not necessarily to watch TV, because I can just watch it on my laptop. I was dying to just sit on the sofa. Absolutely dying for it. Like, I would sit like in here or on the bed or even on the floor or at the dining room table. Not the same. No, it's certainly not. I was just like, I just want to sit with my feet up on the sofa, like tucked underneath me, because I'm quite short, and then otherwise it like makes me slouch down and my back go really bad. I just wanted to sit in that position under a blanket with cushions around me, and not in the dining room. We have a church pew, as like it's an actual church pew, as a dining room table chair. Now, it's lovely, but do you want to chill out on it for like an hour or two? No, it's a wooden church pew, which I put a cushion on, but it's just not the same, you know. And the dining room is filled with clothes to, you know, they're like drying, and it's got all my arts and crafts in it, so it's like, and it's not huge. So it's got like a massive table in it. It's not big. So we had to move the dogs in there and some other stuff. And then we had all the washing up, and it was just really crowded, and it just wasn't very nice, to be honest. So that is my sofa story. Anyway, it's not finished yet, actually. The ceiling guy comes on Friday, and he wanted all of the stuff out of the front room, and when he got there, Tom had put it like all in a pile, because that is the night that I slept from 6 p.m. till 7 a.m. Just don't ask. And he'd put it all in like a pile not a pile, like it was a big mound in the centre of the room, and the guy wanted the whole room cleared. And I said to this guy, Simon, I was like, Simon, where are we supposed to put it all? There is no room unless we carry it out of the house, and I'm not vibing that. So he was like, yeah, fair enough, but obviously wasn't very happy about the fact that it was all in the front room still. So we had to move it at like 8 a.m. to the dining room, which I've already told you is very full, not much room. And also some of it went in the corridor. Now, he left the place in a state, like, not a state, I'm exaggerating, but it was a real mess. Like, there's plaster all over the walls, there's plaster on the floor, there's dust everywhere, there's rubble still left in there. It's so dusty. And then we've got the rubble that like fell from the ceiling. It's like covered all of the chairs and the sofa, so like they're dirty, and we don't have a mop, so I tried cleaning it on my hands and knees, and just doesn't seem to come up. I'm like, this dust is like embedded into the laminate flooring. It's not as though it's a carpet, laminate flooring now. So I've washed it like 2 times, and Tom goes away for an interview on Friday night. And he was like, don't put it back, you know, we need to clean it and stuff. And I was like, okay. And then, do you know what I did? When he left, I was like, I can't cope anymore. I just can't. I want to sit in the front room, have a cider, and I want to watch TV. And I want pups to be sat there. I just want it normal. I don't give a shit that the floor is dusty. I will clean it when... another time. I want to sit on the sofa. And Tom keeps calling me a potato couch, but realistically, I don't think that's an abnormal thing to want to do. Sit in your living room where you live. I was dying for it. I've never been so grateful to sit on that sofa. Like, the living room is not back to normal. It's still dirty. There's all the stuff still not back in, because they're going to paint it. So there's no point in putting it all back together, the ceiling, I mean. So there's no point in, like, putting all the stuff back in, just take it all back out. So I put the bare minimum in, like the table, the TV, and the sofa, and a couple of lamps. But for the most part, it's pretty empty. And it's not, like, homey. It never really has been homey in there, because it's, like, it's just rented, you know, like classic gross rented odd bob furniture, magnolia, or, well, it's not really magnolia, it's like this colour wall, which I don't know if you can see. It's kind of like off-white, paley blue, which is not a bad colour, but, you know, it's just not homely. It's not a homely room. Anyway, it's less homely now, but that's by the by. What I am most grateful for is just sitting on that sofa. I have never appreciated that sofa more. In fact, I was going to get rid of that sofa and get, like, a bigger one, more comfy one, like an L-shaped one. And that has completely gone out of my mind for now, because I am just like, you are the best part of my life right now, sofa. The next story is, well, actually, let me tell you why the sofa is so amazing. It's not the comfiest, it's not the sexiest, it's secondhand, it's like, it's tiny, it's 2-seater, and it's like 2-seater, like, it's not like a big 2-seater where you're like, yeah, I can, like, lie down and chill out. No, 2 people sit on it, have a bit of room between you, but, like, you could maybe fit 3 people on it, but they'd have to be, like, sat bolt upright, like they're on some kind of, like, they're in a tuk-tuk or something. But I've written adversity or absence, and people always say absence makes the heart grow fonder, and that's because it does. The absence of my sofa has made my heart grow fond for it. Now, you could argue that, oh, you just want to sit and watch TV. Well, sometimes I've just sat there and not watched TV and just looked at the world, or written my morning pages, which is my morning journaling. But some of it is also, like, the dogs aren't allowed upstairs, so I would happily sit in here or upstairs or in the bedroom more if the dogs could come with me. But if they're here, I would much rather sit with them, which is not because they can't be alone, it's because I actually want to sit with them. Like, they are my dogs, so I want to sit in their presence. You know, all day this morning we sat out in the garden together, and then I mowed the lawn. I just like being with them, and I kind of find their noises a bit calming, you know, like Bailey sounds like a little pig, like a it's really cute, and Lila comes over and, like, gives you a little, that's a lick, and, like, just says hello to you, and you give her a little stroke, and then they eat their little biscuits. And anyway, the absence of a particular object or thing makes you go, damn, I really want that back in my life. I don't need a sofa, but I felt like I needed it. And another thing that's made me really appreciate things recently is I've been watching a few survival programs. Some of them are like, what do you call them? Like fiction type sci-fi apocalypse things. Like, they're not real, and a bit like one, you know, on Netflix, Snowpiercer and Sweet Tooth. We love post-apocalyptic stuff. I don't know why. Surely it should be scary, but it's not. And so we've been watching those, and then recently I've been watching something called Outlast, which is another Netflix show. And basically they send these people out into Alaska, and they basically have to outlast each other. Outlast. That was my American accent attempt. I just sound so nasally when I'm American. Oh God, I don't know what happened there. That I really got into the zone. I have actually been practicing an American accent because it's the most wanted accent on the acting scene, and I've been learning how they say words. So they say R, Don Barlow. Anyway, that's my attempt at an American voice for the day. Sometimes it does go into Australian, which I haven't quite figured out how to stop that yet. So when I say no, I don't know. See, it just goes Australian. I don't know how to say I don't know in American. I don't know. I don't know. No. See, I just can't do it. Anyway, I could be there all day trying to figure that one out. It just turns Australian. I don't know why. So I'm watching a lot of survival programs, the Alaskan one. Go check it out. It's called Outlast. It's obviously fairly staged, but it's still pretty good. It's not too awful. It's a bit like Bear Grylls, but like probably it's Bear Grylls isn't American. So anyway, they have lost a lot of like common things that we have in life. Running water, food delivered to our door, ready made for us, hot and literally ready to eat. Warmth, safety. There's like loads of bears in Alaska, or the other people are going to come out and get them. Just getting food every day, like those really simple things, or being able to go to the hospital when you're sick. Well, maybe not so much in America, but so the survival programs have really made me appreciate the simple things in life. Having running water, fresh running water. I don't have to boil it. I don't have to decontaminate it. That's me drinking water and being happy about it. And the other thing is, I think this is why people say that they love travelling so much, and why people learn so much from travelling, because what you realise is that you have it good. And you're like, wow, a lot of people have a lot less than me. I have nothing to complain about. A lot of people, like when I went to Thailand or, Asian countries like that, a lot of them live in like shanty kind of huts, and the electric is like piled up into cables of like 100 or more cables, sort of precariously swinging from these like wooden corrugated metal hut things, and they have like 8 of them in a 1-bedroom hut, and it's just they're living in that situation. They don't have a choice. We have so many choices in life, so that I do think that's why travelling makes people grateful for what they have, especially if you go travelling from a developed country to an underdeveloped country. Let's talk about my money story now. If you've been following the podcast for a little while, you may have heard I was going to say moans, but it's not a moan. It's a recent life event, which is I have sort of changed careers. I keep saying sort of because I haven't fully left medicine. I am trying to do some locum shifts, but so I am moving more into performing stuff, acting, maybe some comedy. So I'm trying out for drama school, and I am doing improv, and obviously I've got my podcast and my YouTube channel, which are both really great avenues for me to express myself, be creative, and just, I guess, have more freedom, although that's questionable, and just upload whatever you want, whenever you want, kind of, although I do have a schedule. So I am venturing away from the traditional medical role. Now, does that mean I'm leaving medicine completely? No. But what it has made me realise is money. Now, when I was working as a doctor, I was working as a locum doctor, and my last job, I was doing 24-hour on-call shifts, and you might go, what the fuck? You were working for 24 hours straight? Yes, I was. It was actually longer than that. The shift was technically 24 hours, but I'd really be working for more like 26. And then I'd also do 48-hour shifts, which were over the weekend, which would turn more into a 50-hour shift as you ended, you had to hand over and go to the ward round and stuff. So I've done it, 50-hour shifts, yes. Now, the pay, fucking amazing. Because, now, people are like, oh my God, how are you going to work 24 hours in a row? It is not like a proper non-stop doctor job. Most 8 to 9 hour, maybe even 13-hour doctor shifts, you are run off your feet. You don't finish everything. It's constant work, everybody wants your attention. Whereas this job, some of the days were busy, but most of the time I wouldn't have to get up out of bed at night, although my sleep would be disturbed from either me not being able to sleep, from being like, oh my God, someone's going to call me, just anxiety, or someone actually calling me. But as a general rule, I wouldn't have to get out of bed. I did a few times. The woman had a dislocated jaw. That was quite interesting. Anyway, so I went from, and because that was a locum job, and I was doing 2 on-call shifts a week by the end, because I was like, I can't do more than 2. That was, for 26, 48, 52 hours in a week for, not completely intensive, like work, if I did a 52-hour week on call in any other specialty, almost any other specialty, maybe not like ophthalmology, but like general surgery, medicine, I would be dead. I would not be able to sustain that for longer than a couple of weeks, because it's intense. It's like constant. You're getting bleeped every 10 minutes. Like it's insane. So it's a different kind of busy. It's definitely less busy, but you get paid for the same amount of time, and you get paid locum rate as well. So it was good pay. Now, and then before that I did just, what did I do before that? Maybe, was it medicine? General medicine, not on calls, but general medicine ward stuff. And although that was much more busy, I was, I still get paid pretty well. So as a general rule, I was paid quite well as a doctor. And that was because I was working as a locum in the places that needed me most. Because that's not me being like, oh my God, they were so desperate, they just needed me, I'm amazing. That's me being like, I was plugging a hole, a temporary hole, until they got someone. One job in particular, they were waiting for someone to be signed up to the hospital and stuff and do all of the training, so they needed me in the interim. And that's not unheard of. Now some of the other roles are like, they are not getting that hole filled because there is no one to fill that hole. So sometimes it's longer than others, but anyway, I earn quite well. So what I'm trying to say is I went from some very well paid jobs, saved up a lot of money, to being like, I do not want to fucking do this. No, the NHS is not fun right now. If it's ever fun, I don't know. And maybe some of that is working as a locum. Yes, I get put in all the most stretched roles, but I also wasn't enjoying that I had to do like a rota. I think that was some of it. I don't work well with being quote unquote controlled, as in, I know it's not control, but it's like I benefit from freedom and working for myself. Like, that is just the kind of person I am. Some people like set hours. I've spoken to some doctors that like, I could never be a locum. I get too stressed about not paying the bills. I'm like, well, I kind of like living life on the edge a bit more so that I can fulfill my desire to work for myself and be a bit more flexible with my time. So what I'm saying is I went from getting a lot of money to earning literally nothing, and my outgoings still being roughly the same. Obviously I wasn't paying for petrol and parking and stuff like that. So that was a big shock. Now my savings have gone, but it's kind of worth it, so that I can take some breathing space and go, what am I doing with my life? Reevaluating it. Now it's stressful, yes, but what it's made me appreciate more is the value of money. To me, a few months ago, 30 quid, 50 quid, sometimes, if I'm honest, even like 500 quid would not be a big deal. Now, I think about spending 20 quid, £10. I'm like, is it worth it? Because I have a finite pool of money. Now, when I was working as a locum, it sounds bad. I'm not like bragging about how much money I earn. I'm just saying it's really changed my perspective in a good way, being like, wow, like a lot of people are struggling. Like, it has made me realise the actual cost of living, because before I just didn't really think about bills, like I could always pay them. Whereas now it's made me think, wow, like £160 for gas for a month is so much. It's insane. I used to pay like 30 quid a month, and I just didn't think about the difference because I didn't need to. Now it's just made me appreciate and be much more grateful for any money that I do earn, and it's just changed my perspective on money completely, and it's definitely made me change. So before, my friends, or like maybe a while ago, my friends would be like, I can't afford it, and I'd just always be like, it's 20 quid. Sometimes I would pay for them, and now I'm like, yeah, I get it. I do not want people to misconstrue that as me being like, I earn so much money, I'm so rich, like, feel sorry for me now I'm poor. Like, no, that is not the vibe I was going for. The vibe I was going for was actually quite a humble one. It was like, I've really, my mindset has changed towards money, and in a positive way, but also I do kind of hate it. Like, they say, money doesn't buy happiness. No, it doesn't, but it definitely buys your sort of security. And that's the kind of thing that I'm feeling right now. And I'm like, wow, how are people going to cope through this cost of living crisis? I've got money saved up. Obviously it's dwindling, but I'm not in a bad position, all things considered, but I feel stressed about it. And some of that is the pain of losing money. Like, spending money is actually painful to your mind. I don't know if it's physically painful, but your mind doesn't love it. So yeah, like I said, so grateful for money now. And I used to be like, why would I spend my time, let's say, walking somebody's dog for £10 or whatever, when I could work as an hour for a doctor and earn, we're talking about tax and everything. I don't know how much you earn post-tax, probably more like 30 quid an hour, but, earn significantly more. My time is worth something. Well, I don't think I've ever sneezed on the podcast. That was a first in all my 30-something episodes. So, what was I saying? Oh my god, that sneeze lost my train of thought completely. So yeah, I had to really change my mindset to be like, okay, yes, you're earning more as a doctor, but you are less happy doing that work for that money. And for me, it really didn't balance up for a while, especially whilst I was working as a doctor and seeing those dollar signs, and then you're like, okay, I've tipped over the edge now, I am ready to leave. The money isn't worth it anymore, because that's what you're compensating me for, is the stress, the travelling, the mental fatigue, the burnout. Like, that is what I'm being financially compensated for, essentially. So that's my money story. It's been I've found other ways to make money, like I said, I've been dog walking. I'm doing some medical blog writing. I am trying to find some acting jobs. What else am I doing? I'm just finding opportunities. It doesn't need to be like, I've got a medical transcribing job, work from home. So I have I've got my plant store, multiple sources of income. None of them are huge, but they are all something, and they all make me happier than going into the hospital every day. Blech, gross, hate it. I can do it once a week, twice a week max, but 5 times a week? No, why would I want to do that? I value my happiness and mental health more than that. And I don't think it's my goal to be a full-time doctor. Everyone always asks me as a locum, they're like, oh, when are you going to training? I'm like, oh, I don't know, not sure, I don't know what I want to do. And that's kind of true, but also I maybe don't want to tell them the reality that I don't know whether I want to be a doctor. And it's not me lying, it's me being like, to be honest, and I have said it to some people, in truth, I don't see myself being a doctor long term. I will be a doctor, as in I will continue to work in the profession, but it's not going to be my main thing. My main thing, I want it to be like YouTube, acting, maybe some comedy. I still keep saying maybe some comedy because I'm like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, because it's scary. It's way scarier than acting, I would say, because acting you can be somebody else, whereas comedy you're yourself, and whether people like it or not is a real true reflection on your humor and how you are as a person. And yeah, it can flop. And actually I watched something recently that was Joe Rogan talking. I didn't know he started as a comedian, but sorry if you just heard me burp. But he said his first comedy gig was an absolute flop, so that made me feel a bit better. He's got quite a successful career now, so I think I've just got to do it and see what happens. I am going to write a stand-up comedy show, but I need to get past this acting audition first. It's just like, if money weren't an issue, I would be so much happier just as I am now. Obviously not static, I am working towards things, but the money issue would be less of a concern. It would be less like, oh my god, I'm worried about money depletion. But anyway, that's a problem for another day. What am I grateful for at the moment? Okay, so I've talked about this one a little bit. Freedom and choice. So I can come in and out of medicine as I like. I've got my medical degree, but it's also an asset in so many other places. And everyone's always like, oh, don't you regret doing medicine then if you don't want to do it? I'm like, no. I find it so amazing that everyone appreciates my medical degree as much as I do. It's an achievement, and it's also people, they see something behind just the medical degree. They know what a medical degree takes to get. They know what a medical degree means. They know what being a doctor means. So it comes with a sense of, I know what you're about because I know how hard you've worked for that. So it comes with more meaning than just, I've got a medical degree. So I get a lot of freedom and choice from having that. I can go in and out of medicine. I can do medical roles as an actor. I can use some medical stories in comedy because some of the shit is funny. I can use it on my CV. Like, I don't see it as a thing that I regret or a negative thing, or like, why did I even bother going to uni? No, I had a great time at uni too. So that is not something I regret at all. And even if somebody doesn't, I remember when I was in medical school, someone was like, I don't even want to do medicine, but they were in medical school. And I was like, why? Like, I just didn't get it. But now I get it. It's like, okay, you've got that qualification under your belt, but it means so much more than just I am qualified to work as a doctor. It means I am intelligent, I am good at managing stress, I'm good at managing time, I am good at memorizing things, I'm good at teamworking, I'm good at communicating, I'm good at listening. Like, there's so many things that medical degree means. And it's not like, I don't want to shit on any other degrees, but another mainstream non professional degree, that they've taught you that subject, but they've not necessarily taught you all the skills that go alongside it. And I think that's the difference. As a result, this sounds a bit weird, but like, I love the fact that people trust me. I personally see myself as a very trustworthy person. I rarely, if ever, lie. And even if I do, it's like a white lie. But I see that as a great thing. Like, people, like I said, as soon as people find out you're a doctor, and I don't go shouting it from the rooftops, but people just see you in a certain, like, they've got their idea of what a doctor is. Now, obviously, I don't always fit into that, but they have certain preconceptions based on you being a doctor. So they trust you. And I like that. I like the fact that people, I guess some of it is respect. Like, why wouldn't you want someone to respect you? Except your employer. And so, yeah, I do really like the fact that people trust me, and I hope that doesn't come across in like a sadistic way. Another thing that I very much feel grateful for is my confidence, and I have developed a strong confidence in myself. I don't know where from. I think some of it is leaving medicine and starting to go, especially doing improv. I talk about improv a lot in my podcast or my YouTube channel, but it has given me so much more confidence and so many other skills, listening skills in particular. And I like being a confident person. It's not nice to be feeling, oh my god, what's the word? Self-conscious and worried. Yes, I obviously have days where I'm like, I'm a bit chubby today, but not necessarily just body confidence, like confidence in yourself, self-confidence, confidence in other situations. Just like, I'm going for the top drama school in the UK. I'm auditioning on Wednesday, and I'm not worried about it. Like, it's not an arrogance. It's like, I'm confident that I will be able to talk to them. I know that I'll get on with them because I've worked with so many people, talked to so many people, and I just have a confidence that it's like, if it'll be shit if I don't get in, but if I have what it takes, then they'll see that. And I have a confidence, and I think that helps me with the acting, obviously, because you do need to be a confident person, I would say, to act. So yeah, I think, I don't know, hopefully it won't tip over into arrogance, or I don't know at what point you start to become arrogant. I think maybe I think arrogance comes when you gain success, and success, whether it's quick or slow. So a slow success is actually much better and humbling for your mind, body and soul. If you gain success overnight, oh my god, you just can't handle it. Like, it's unhandleable in terms of arrogance, and just, it just goes to your head. So although of course we all want, like, to be instantly satisfied and be like, yeah, I achieved this amazing thing really quickly. I also recognise that comes with its negative things as well, because I don't want to become the person that looks down on people and isn't humble. Oh my god, if I look back on this in like 10 years and I'm just a complete bitch and everyone's like, remember when you said you wanted to be humble and now you're a fucking bitch? Go look at this. Well, actually, if 38-year-old me, oh my god, that's scary. 38-year-old me, if you're watching this, I hope you're still humble. I hope you're not homeless. And I hope you are happy and have had a successful 10 years in something that you're happy with and enjoying. That's going to be the creepiest thing to see when I'm 38, and I don't like the fact that I'm 38 in 10 years. Ooh, okay. What else am I grateful for? Obviously friends, that's like an obvious one, isn't it? But I feel like moving to Bristol has really, it's just changed my, not my mindset, but like my ability to find friends. There's just, Exeter was like fucking boring. Like, I always say I have friends in Exeter, but it's just not a social place, I wouldn't say, unless you're a student. So, there's not like that many places to hang out, and it's not that much going on. So living in Bristol, moving to Bristol, I've got friends at the theatre, I've got friends at the improv theatre, I've got friends, I'm going to start doing Spanish, so hopefully I'll have friends there. I've got friends from the gym, I've got my friends from school. That's kind of it for now, actually. So those are all my friends. I don't feel like I need a lot of friends though, just a few really good ones that I feel like I can spend time with, and those friends where you can spend time with them and not even be doing anything at all. That's the dream. Like me and Izzy can literally be sat there, I don't know, on our laptops, not even talking to each other, but we're still having a great time. Okay. I also am feeling very grateful for, now, like I said, some of these things are not concrete. In actual fact, none of these things, apart from friends, have so far been a concrete object. And the next two is that, actually. It's more of an abstract idea. Maybe it's the new artist in me, I'm just like, I love my confidence. I love my new American accent. I feel like it's so, oh god, that was like a real mixture between English and American then. I feel like it's so overdone. No, it just turns Australian. Someone needs to sort this out. Okay, right, my work ethic. I am a fucking hard worker. Now, you may think I'm not, but I do a lot for free as well. Podcast for free. I get no money from it yet. Hopefully in the future, but no money. No, almost no money from my YouTube channel. Now I can't say none because I do get some, but I would say £5 a month does not pay the bills. Okay, what else do I do that I don't get paid for? I mean, it's not even just like non-paid stuff. It's just I just do a lot of stuff. So I do really appreciate my work ethic. I do work very hard, and I like not being a lazy person. And I'm very appreciative and grateful for my desire to achieve something in life. And I always kind of know what I want to do. I think the worst position to be in is not having something to work towards, because then you just start to question life, and that is when existential crisis happens. Oh boy, I've been there. I should do an episode on an existential crisis, because I have had one, and I've also had really bad dissociation when I was really depressed. I can talk about that. It was horrible. Now I feel alive, but I felt dead. It was, crazy times. And my last thing is my newfound love for the creative arts. So fucking wispy. That's such a wispy answer. I don't think I've ever described anything as wispy apart from hair, but if anything was wispy, it was that. So yeah, my newfound love for the arts. I mean, I just love performing. I can't believe I've put it to the wayside for so long, but I'm just so glad that I found it again. I did it as a kid, but not like loads, but yeah, I did it as a kid, like school plays, and I don't know, maybe I just like being the centre of attention. But yeah, it's not just that, I've been doing like artwork, like painting and drawing and stuff, and yeah, I just love it all. Isn't that where you should be in life? Loving what you do every day. Now, if I earned money from it, life would be a bit better because I could, not be so stressed about money. And also, I could take some of the workload off. But I'm seeing that as a future goal. Future me will be reaping those benefits, hopefully. So, I think once you start being grateful for one thing, so the way that I did it, not on purpose, but remove that thing from your life, it will be hard. The sofa, right? Or your phone. Don't leave with your phone for one day. Like, leave the house. Or turn the internet off in your house for one day. Just something that you take for granted. It doesn't matter if it's something like not that important. Like I don't know, what's not that important? You don't have any kitchen roll, but you usually have kitchen roll. And you just gain an appreciation for it. Like, wow, kitchen roll? Where have you been? I need you back. And once you start being grateful for one thing, doesn't matter if it's big or small, it starts to cascade and grow. And you go, oh my God, yeah, I really appreciate that. Because that list that I wrote, which has roughly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things at the end. And then you add on the sofa, the money, that's 8. And I'm sure I could easily think of another 10 more that I'm grateful for. It starts to build. Your gratitude for other things in the world grows because it's just like happiness and gratefulness and gratitude is, oh my God, I've forgotten the word. Not like addictive, it's like accumulative. That's not the word either, but yeah, it just grows and grows and grows, and it accumulates. Maybe that's the word. So, try and be grateful for one thing this week. Maybe it's my podcast. Maybe you're like, damn, Dawn, I love the podcast. I won't listen to it for a week. And then I'll listen to it and I'll be like, whoa, I needed that back. No, but like, try something, yeah, kitchen roll. Tea towels. Oh my God, I use the tea towels so much. If I didn't have them, I would be sad. I don't know, you could try something a bit more high end. Water. You could heating. Just, yeah, things like that. And it's like with a partner as well. Like, you don't notice how much they do for you until they're not there. Anyway, that was a whole hour. Well, it's currently 59 minutes and 10 seconds. But thanks for listening, guys. If you made it this far, like, comment a grater, like, like a cheese grater in the comments down below. And I'll be like, wow. And I'll give you a really fucking witty reply. I don't know what I'll say yet, but it will be really great. So, yeah. I look forward to seeing you or speaking to you in what will be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 3 days from when this is published. I publish on a Monday and a Thursday. And, oh my God, my next episode is theoretically, and I hope it gets edited, but theoretically is the one I mentioned last week, which is Slow the Fuck Down with Izzy and the other person who is to be revealed. And yeah, super exciting. It was a really great episode. We could have gone on for hours, but we were hungry, so we stopped after an hour. But yeah, it's just so great talking to friends. Like, I love podcasting with other people. If you do want to join on the podcast, hit me up. on YouTube in the comments, or maybe on email, contact@diariesofadoctor.com, or I don't know, like on Instagram or something. I think it's Diaries of a Doctor 1, the number. Or yeah. Anyway, I'll see you on Thursday, and I hope your gratefulness goes well. Let me know, if you do find something in the comments, put the greater, and then what were you grateful for this week? It can be anything. It could be like my pet aardvark. There we go. Okay, I keep saying bye and they're not going because I don't want to leave. Okay, bye.